And Barack Obama, obviously, his famous tagline in Irish is "It's faded in," and in English, of course, is "Yes, we can." Yes, we can put our differences aside and build a nation. I look at myself sometimes and I realise that Ireland was made for me. It was made for me because I'm male, because I'm heterosexual, because I'm settled, because I'm white, because I was raised a Catholic, because I'm able-bodied, and because I'm a middle-class background. And if you're not male, if you're female, Ireland is a little bit more difficult. If you're gay, Ireland is a little bit more difficult. If you're a traveller, Ireland is just a little bit more difficult. If you're not white, it's a little bit more difficult. If you're not Catholic, it's a little bit more difficult. If you're not able-bodied, it's more difficult. And if you're not middle class, it's a little bit more difficult. But it's not the responsibility of all those groups I've just named to stand up for their rights. It's the responsibility of all of us to vindicate the rights, because if people stand up for us, then we'll be able to stand up for them, and everybody benefits. Can I say this just about the traveller issue? I think it's become long past the time that Irish society realises that the traveller community deserve ethnicity rights, and that has to happen soon, and there's no more excuses for it not to happen. So can I have a round of applause, please? I also think we have an act in Irish legislation called the Incitement to Hatred Act. It goes back to 1989, and I think we need to change that act, because I think a lot of things are said foolishly by people like me about people they don't understand, need to be challenged, and need to be outlawed, and we need to learn to live and get on with each other an awful lot better. Can I say just this, because I know there's a lot of young people here, and we're talking about bullying a lot recently, and cyberbullying, because the act I just referred to goes back to 1989, and most people in Ireland didn't have a computer in 1989. A lot of people didn't have a phone in 1989. In fact, I have a thing called a BlackBerry, and apparently I'm from the Stone Ages, because everybody had an iPhone, or so my wife tells me. Bullying is a huge problem. But I say most adults in this room will turn to children and say, you know, I was bullied when I was a child, and I know I was. And you feel alone, and you feel as if it's all your fault, and you feel that nobody likes you, you feel that nobody loves you, you feel that it'll never change. But I say anybody here who's being bullied, or anybody here who knows that they're involved in bullying, I think you just need to talk to somebody. But I don't think anybody wants to be bullied. And you can get past it if you talk to somebody that you trust. But also nobody really wants to be a bully either. And I think if you think yourself you're being involved in bullying behaviour, and you know you are, then maybe you need to talk to somebody through it. And we can get beyond this period where people try to bully and to make people feel worse than they really are. Because the wonderful thing is, when you get older, when you're small, you're in primary school or secondary school, you just want to be the same. You don't want to be any different. I mean, I used to be sent to school, you know, on PE days. I couldn't find my runners, because I'm a guy and I can't find your runners. And my mum would say, put on your shoes, just go to school in your shoes. And, oh my God, I'm wearing my tracksuit and my shoes on the same day. John Nevin would never won a silver medal in the Olympics if he was wearing shoes going to the gym. And what was I terrified of? I wasn't terrified that I wouldn't be able to do PE. I was terrified that people would look at me and say, oh God, he's different. But the funny thing is, the older you get, when you're different, it's much cooler. It's much better. So, I think I want to get that message out very, very clearly. Can I congratulate the Irish Traveller Movement and Freiburg College for the magnificent initiatives that they're involved in. Can I also say this very important message about teachers? Because nothing can happen in the education system without teachers being empowered to do it, by taking it on board, by driving it in their schools. And I think if there's one element of Irish society who are completely undervalued, are Irish teachers. And I think everybody here should give a round of applause to teachers who are here today and teachers who are not. So much, and I see some representatives here from the INTO I know are nodding their heads and agreeing with me. Teachers do so much, they care so much, and they are undervalued. And people say silly things about teachers and public servants in general in the media when they don't understand anything about them. So I think we should want to say that. Can I thank everybody here for being involved in this thing. Equality is so important, it makes everybody's life so much better. And I think we all have to make a commitment that this isn't just something that happens in our schools. Because often we deliver programs in our schools and we think that's enough, and we tick that box, that was okay. It's not just about our schools, it's actually where we live. It's the street where we live, it's the community in which we live, it's the county that we live in. And we have to challenge people around us. People in our own family who sometimes say things, or sometimes do things that they shouldn't. So stand up for yourselves. If you believe that you're not being justly treated, stand up for others. But as the previous speaker said about our own experience being a traveller in the education system, there's nothing you can't achieve if you put your mind to it. You can absolutely achieve absolutely anything if you put your mind to it. And I know you can. Your parents know you can. Your teachers know you can. All you have to do is say to yourself, yes, I can. Thanks very much for listening to me.